Welcome back, everyone. I'm Setharoth, and today we are going to be fulfilling the Way of the Voice quest. We are on our way to speak to the Greybeards because they have summoned us to the monastery of High Hrothgar on the slopes of the Throat of the World. Now, this particular leg, as a gamer, I've probably run this 4 or 5 times on various builds. And this particular quest is probably the longest one to get through in the game because you haven't unlocked all the fast travel options yet. So you've got to start off at Iverstead to get up to High Hrothgar. So this is a really good opportunity, though, to show you guys some options that you have to level up your skills while traveling. So for starters, we're going to hop over to Helgen, get as close as we can. And I like to go around this way because it actually unlocks a couple of dungeons that I'll want to double back to. And I always have to double check which path I'm taking before I go the wrong way here, because that has happened in the past. I know men aren't supposed to ask for directions, but when you're on camera, you got to be a little careful. Okay, so now we're traveling, but first we want to make sure that we are power leveling whatever we can power level. So we've got a couple of options here. We've got Candlelight. Oak Flesh is actually a combat one, so if you cast Oak Flesh just like in your daily running from point A to point B, my understanding is you won't level very quickly, if at all, because you have to be in combat taking damage. But Candlelight, on the other hand, is something that you can actually cast and build your skills at without needing to be in combat. Our other option is Muffle, which is another one that allows you to gain illusion experience without necessarily being in combat, which is what we're working on. So we're going to go for a little stroll through the dark, forlorn corners of Skyrim. And as you can see, illusion is now pumped up to 20. And then we're going to actually, let's see, well, once alteration levels up, we're going to have another look at that and see where we're starting out there. And the nice thing about alteration is apparently that does not cost a whole lot of mana at all. Obviously, if you've ever done a thief build or any class that does alchemy, you always just kind of pick up some flowers as you're making your way. Notice I'm trying to be efficient with my time, so I'm not picking all the flowers, just the ones that are convenient at the moment. We'll keep the candlelights going, save up a little more magicka for another burst of illusion magic, and we'll see by the end of this run how high up we will be able to level those abilities. Get another candlelight going. This also helps if you're stuck in one of those, because obviously this is a long run, right? So when you have a couple different spells that you're bouncing between, that kind of helps to give you something to do so that you're just not whiling away your time trying to have a sprinting race with rabbits and so on and so forth. Let's see, so we'll give Candlelight another shot. I'm not seeing a lot of progress from Candlelight, although that is like your most basic alteration spell, so it's not going to level very quickly. We might, for this run, just stick to Illusion, because I know firsthand you get a lot of experience from that Muffle spell. Even if you're up to like level 50 or 60 in the skill tree, it still keeps producing. Like, you could technically muffle your way all the way to 100. I don't know if I'm going to push that far with this character, because Skyrim has an interesting balance to it. If you power level your character to that intensity, right, where you're level 1 and you power level your illusion all the way up to max, and now you're level 11 with a level 100 illusion, it sounds really nice, but when you go into combat, all of your combat skills are still going to be a really low level. Alright, this is the first of the dungeons that I wanted to unlock on the way. Hamar's Shame is particularly nice if you are a wizard, because, you know, fire magic is awesome. That is a Headless Horseman. I am immediately intrigued. Sir, can we have a chat? Are you capable of the chat? Is chatting an option? Is there a quest of some kind? Okay. Well, alright, not sure what that was about. That's actually the first time I've seen that happen. I don't know if that's part of a recent update or what, but how often do you see a Headless Horseman ghost? I don't know what that means. I guess we'll just have to pay attention as we're going down this path here and see if we can find like a corpse or something that might have risen from, the spirit might have risen from, or I don't know. Is the Headless Horseman like a signal that I should steal this horse and just make this trip that much faster? It's tempting to steal the horse, but you can't actually power level your illusion magic while riding the horse. So we're going to keep pushing on with this and see exactly how high. Remember, when we started, our illusion was level 20. And then by the time we get to the Throat of the World, maybe more Iverstead, because once you get to Throat of the World, you're getting into, there are some combat situations in there you got to be aware of, for which we will want to save up our mana. Magicka, I should say. I've been playing a lot of D&D lately, so that kind of bleeds through. I've actually been considering a mod for Skyrim that actually mimics the playthrough for a D&D campaign, so you could set up like a wizard that was built like 5th edition D&D and then run it in Skyrim. I've been thinking about a playthrough for that for this channel. Once I've gotten a little more experience behind the camera and figuring out, or showing you guys some of the options for power leveling, because I feel like that's a pretty crucial need for whatever build or whatever class you're involved with. You will want to power level, or at least know the ins and outs of it, so you can kind of power level at your own speed. And goodbye, Mr. Wolf. Now notice, even doing that, I conjured my sword and then attacked, so that boosted my conjuration skill as well as my one-handed. Come on, I am totally going to take you out now. I'm not going to leave you snapping away at my heels, waiting to chew on me later. Okay, let's go back to, you know what, we'll keep the muffle going. Keep the muffle going. Oh, no, that is the wrong button. Although I can't complain with having some conjuration magic to back you up. This is another spot that's nice to get to. It is the Alchemist's Shack. Perk about that, obviously, is there's a lot of plants that regrow here. I think it's once a week in-game, right? So in game time, if I was to sleep for 6 days and then come back here, all of the alchemic stuff, obviously not the things on the shelves, but the stuff growing in the back garden would have respawned. There's also an interesting mod you can get for alchemy that puts a book right here, and that actually gives you kind of like a cookbook for all the various recipes in alchemy, so that you don't necessarily have to go around and go by trial and error to try and find all the right combinations. And you know, while we're at it, let's go ahead and use what we got. Let's see, so what's possible threats do you think we're going to have to deal with? Definitely going to be wanting healing. That's pretty standard. Fortifying conjuration, that could be good. What the heck, let's just cook with everything we got. I don't know why it's giving me... Usually if it's white, it means you have enough... Ah, there we go. So there we go. So this run, keep in mind, I'd forgotten about this particular shack, but this does mean that when you take this route to High Hrothgar, it gives you the opportunity to power up your alchemy as well. Where's that muffle spell? There we go. Okay. Alright, illusion is now up. Let's see. I think there's one more dungeon I want to unlock, but if you're a lower level, particularly playing at higher levels of difficulty, you have to be careful. Oh, Lydia has found a friend. Yeah, right. Let's go big or go home. Oh, no mana! No mana! Sorry, Lydia. I am out of mana. Oh, you're good. Alright, moving on. You know what? Let's go ahead and... well, we're going to save the level up for when I'm in trouble, because I have a record so far. I don't think it's been a week since I added to this playthrough, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain I have not healed. I've only healed by leveling up throughout all of these initial encounters. Fairly certain. So you may be asking yourself, well, if I'm running, a mage that just does destruction and healing, or if I'm doing a two-handed warrior, why would I bother with illusion magic? Which is an excellent point, because why level up a skill that you're not actually going to use? The interesting thing about Skyrim, though, is if you need extra perks, it's good to have a couple of skills that you level up consistently, but you don't actually put perks into, because then you can use the perks gained from those level gains and put them where you want. So illusion does give you if you're a melee type, if you're not a thief type, if you just would rather go in and chop those bad guys into pieces as is, without bothering to do any crowd control. You can level up illusion while you travel, but not bother with using those perks on illusion. Now, if I remember right, there's a bear around here I'm trying to be careful around, but okay, well, that's a bit small for a bear, but I will take it. And there's the bear, of course. Alright. Who knew a wolf would come in and ruin our perfect day? Okay, so are you coming or not? Lydia? Yes, tank please. And that, okay, yeah, alright, I'm still on expert difficulty, so anything above a wolf is going to take a bit of a punishment to bring down. But this again brings up my one-handed and my conjuration. I could have switched to my shield as well, but I'm obviously relying on Lydia to tank at the moment. When you're lower level, having companions to share the brunt of the enemy's hits is really helpful, especially if you don't have your armor maxed out yet. We'll be getting into smithing options more as we get deeper into the game. Right now I'm trying to get this initial quest line taken care of, because it just feels incomplete to start a mage quest or something without the ability to really master those shouts. Particularly Unrelenting Force. It's a great way to deal with that last boss at the top of a keep or a mountainside. Anywhere with a high amount of elevation gives you a pretty fun way of dealing with them, because, gravity, edge, shout them off. It's fairly simple. It's also it's worth more if you can do it to like a giant, although you don't usually see them up in the highlands or on top of a building, but watching them fall a great distance can give you a large amount of satisfaction, especially if you knew that opponent was about to eat your heart out and leave you for dead. So I have not done a lot of quests here in Ivarstead yet. I think we will save that for another time. Like I said before, we are shooting for the 7,000 steps to High Hrothgar, and that is it for today, because it takes a while. Alright, let's pick up this quest right here.
Not today. I'm just passing through on your way to High Hrothgar. About to make a delivery up there myself.
What type of deliveries do you make to High Hrothgar?
Mostly food supplies like dried fish and salted meats. Things that keep fresh for a long time. The Greybeards tend not to get out much, if you catch my meaning.
And in return?
Well, it's kind of an understanding between us. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to charge them for a bit of preserved food. Trouble is, my legs aren't what they used to be, and climbing the 7,000 steps takes its toll.
I could do it for you.
Really? Well, that would be kind of you. Here, take this bag of supplies. At the top of the steps, you'll see the offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done.
Alright, anything I should watch out for during the climb?
Well, there's the occasional wolf pack or stray, but that's all I've ever had to deal with. Shouldn't be a problem for the likes of you. Other than that, watch your footing. In these wintry conditions, the stairs can be treacherous.
Not to mention, Skyrim is kind of synonymous with falling to your death. Especially if it's like 6 feet, when the settings are a little off. Okay, so we're going to have to be a little more judicious with our setup, because we're going to be dealing with, let's see, so I'll need my sword, and where's my shield? Alright, so we will keep the shield up for leveling, but switch to muffle. I don't know why it is... I don't know if it's a glitch with my mouse or what, but lately I've been having trouble getting that to coincide. Oh wow, okay, that's earlier than I expected. Alright, so this gives us a chance to raise our block while Lydia does the killing, and once my magicka is up, we will raise illusion. So there we go, I just got another way to boost that skill. Alright, so on the way up the steps of High Hrothgar, there are a number of emblems that you can get to, and I think if you reach all of them, it unlocks a buff that lasts 24 hours. Before the birth of men, the dragons ruled all of Mundus. Their word was the voice, and they spoke only for true needs. For the voice could blot out the sky and flood the land. Mundus. That word doesn't sound very... I don't know. Like, Tamriel has this bigger, broader sound to me, almost angelic. Whereas Mundus sounds kind of like a fungus. It seems like an odd name to use for, I don't know, the world. Whatever. Moving on. Okay, so in this current setup that we are using now, as long as Lydia is sticking to us... Okay, well, hopefully she shows up if bad guys show up. If not, we can switch to a better weapon and call it good. Meanwhile, we will keep on going. So the next time we're going to fight, we will be raising the block skill. And then we'll keep boosting illusion as we go. Remember, we started at level 20. And then we'll see where our tussle was. It's odd that we've... Okay, well, I found out Lydia. Found where Lydia is. She's apparently taking on a bear, which I believe was parked at a dungeon far off the road. So I don't know how Lydia ended up all the way over there. I mean, she did have a bow earlier, so maybe she took a pot shot at it just for kicks. I don't know. Okay, let's assume that she's been taking a lot of damage lately, so we're going to go ahead and just use the sword. Oh. Oh yeah, Lydia's down. Lovely. I showed up just in time. And time to level up. Woo! Alright, that's exciting. Okay, so let's get some magicka going, a little more health. We've got plenty of perks, but I still want to... Yeah, I think I'd rather save them up if I can. So our real problem then is going to be dealing with this little monster. Where's my fire spells? Did I switch to sparks? Oh, right, because earlier I was up against a dragon. So let's get that switched, because extra damage is glorious. Oh, okay, now we gotta be careful. I'm always cautious when I'm using... when I'm working with companions, because I tend to get a little excited when I can make things explode at will. And that tends to go poorly for whoever happens to be my companion at the time. Your Skyrim companions are pretty durable when it comes to bad guys, but if you hurt a Skyrim companion with magic, that will kill them. Or I should say if you kill them with magic, right? If they've got 5 health left or they're down on their knees recovering. Oh, someone had a bad day. Okay, gold, lockpick. Ring of minor health, I'll take that. Do I already have one? I'm not sure if I have a ring. Leather bracers of alchemy. There we go. Alright, so extra health. I'm good with that plan. Alright, let's see if we can coax a little more muffle out of our lives. Head back up. Lydia, okay, no more picking fights with strange bears. Alright, got it? That thing beat you into the ground and I had to come save your life. So, you just stay behind me and we should be okay. There's only one thing up these steps that can potentially kill us both. And it's a little worse than a bear. And it's worse than the wolves, obviously. Not too worried about the wolves. If we run into wolves, we'll backtrack. We've got regular swords and shields, so we can gear up for that if we need to. If I'm out of magicka, which is likely because I'm trying to power level illusion. That'll get us some extra perks. And then since we're going for a battle mage, obviously your first priority is going to be armor and probably melee damage. I might put a little more into destruction as well. I know when you're picking your offensive speciality, it can be tricky because with a battle mage you kind of can get torn between destruction and one-handed, which means you'll probably end up with one of those leveling up faster than the other, whichever way you favorite, but your offensive ability will be leveling up slower on average. So for example, if I just went one-handed, I could power level that to 100 fairly quickly because it's all I would use. Whereas since we're strapped between 2 offensive measures, that's going to slow our development a little bit. Alright, so we have another etched tablet, Emblem 2. Men were born and spread over the face of Mundus. The dragons presided over the crawling masses. Men were weak then and had no voice. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I can picture like primitive humanity versus giant dragons that can pick you up, haul you into the sky, and drop you. That's actually one of my favorite strategies in, if you ever do tabletop Dungeons & Dragons. I've had a couple of times when I would get the campaign for, like, to take a group of characters up to, like, level 15, for example. And then I would run it with one character just to see how well I could get by, how well I could survive, how well I could, if I could, get through it, just with the game as written. And one of my favorite tricks was to polymorph the thing into a little creature, preferably like a turtle, something that can't get away. Haul it up nice and high. Let's see, well, we've got some magic, but we've also got multiple wolves. So if you're up against multiples, oh, come on, line up for me. It's not hard. There you go. Yeah, line up. Okay, Ice Wolf is going to be more of a problem. So we got our bound sword, we got our shield. Okay, and I've ticked off a goat. Why on earth would a goat just run into the face of danger? I have no idea. Alright, let's do this. Alright, let's try and tick this thing off. I guess I know I have an AI in place that actually makes them retreat if they're seriously wounded. I think in this case he's just going after that goat. Whoa! Okay. Or he's just running around like a mad thing. That's an odd... That must be a mod glitch. It's trying to run everywhere. Okay, let's get some block going here. Or not. Never mind. Just finish you off. Maybe. Oh, that's tempting. Okay. That was odd. Okay, so I might have to discontinue the immersive AI. I think it's immersive combat that is supposed to design them to flee once their health is dropped. Which I guess it makes more sense, right, than having a person that just like your bandit number 3 that just runs in and wails on someone dressed in dragon armor that's shouting shockwaves and hurling fireballs, and they just keep wailing on you from. Okay, now I've got another. Wow, I am not making friends today. All right, we've got our sword, we've got our shield. Come on, why can't I? I am specifically picking different buttons on my mouse, and it's not giving me different options. I don't like that. Okay. There we go. Wow, that was probably the worst charge I've ever seen. Lydia! Lydia, are you coming to help? No? Lydia, I'm hurting. Lydia's not coming to help. Okay, so in that case, well, good thing I leveled up again. Notice I've leveled up very quickly. I had to use this to get through the last Ice Wolf, and now I'm using it again because in the last 2 minutes I leveled up again. And since we have all this extra magicka, I think we're just going to use it in the most pyromatic way possible. Come on, you're an Ice Wolf. Fire has to do extra damage to you. It just has to. It just makes sense. And I've actually managed to do that without falling off the cliffside. I'm impressed with myself, because, yeah, if you see me in dungeons, I tend to back up into areas that one cannot unback. Usually while I'm being chased like by a high-level Draugr or something. Yeah, oh well. Okay, let's switch back into our muffled mode, get our magic going. And we have etched tablet number 3. The fledgling spirits of men were strong in old times, unafraid to war with dragons and their voices, but the dragons only shouted them down and broke their hearts. Yeah, given what a dragon can do to you, I'm sure it broke more than their hearts. Dragons are just like that. Okay, let's see, moving on. Where are we at here? Okay, so the goat has fled. I just saw a goat earlier. At least the goat was smart enough to see like hungry wolves and human flamethrowers and decide, I'm out. Because that would be the wise course. I would probably do that too if I rounded a corner and saw a human flamethrower going at it with a giant wolf. Alright, let's see. We're almost about to enough magicka for another illusion boost. And I think that was it for the monsters, except for one, of course. There's one more threat we've got to deal with. And I'd feel much better if Lydia was here with me, which she still is not. And I'm not even sprinting, so I don't know what Lydia's problem is. I haven't even loaded her down with my loot yet, which is another reason to grab a companion early on, because they make great mules. And Skyrim is all about packing all the loot you possibly can into your day. Alright, so let's see. So this should be emblem number 4, unless I have missed something. Yep. Kine called on Parthenox, who pitied man. Together they taught men to use the voice. Then dragon war raged, dragon against tongue. Very nice. Okay. Parthenax. Pitied man. Together they taught men to use the voice. It's interesting that they are vague about who or what Parthenax is. If you are new to Skyrim, I'm not going to ruin it for you. It's a pretty good twist. I did not see it coming, although in retrospect I should have. Which is kind of how you know a plot twist was well done, right? It shouldn't just come out of the blue. It should also be like, oh, well, yeah, that totally makes sense, but in a unique way. I don't know. I've written quite a few books in my time and studied enough fiction writing from professional storytellers that I have a hard time watching television now. Basic television it does not do me well. All right, so we're going to go with an Atronach bound sword and hopefully Lydia. Let's see. Sometimes if you just wait an hour, that'll give your compadre time to catch up. Oh, geez. And that brought... Oh, okay. Are we all ready? Okay, the game has begun. We're going to gang beat this thing into little pieces. if I can actually switch to my sword and shield mode. There we go. Alright. Alright, so the trick with trolls is they regenerate, which you can interrupt with fire, which is why I switched to my flame atronach. Now hopefully Lydia can keep this take the heat long enough for us to bring this thing all the way down. She could not, however. Oh crap. Ah, no! Ah! That was... I tried to sprint and I hit the wrong button, and that was that. And let me see, it should have saved when I waited. Well, there we go. Okay, so we're going to try a different approach this time. Lydia should be here. There we are. Okay, let's see. So we're going to try that again, but this time we're going to use some magicka potions and just take care of business from the start. Alright, so where is that magicka? We don't want to damage magicka regen. We want to restore magicka. I'm sure I have a potion for this. Do I not? It does not look like I do. Wonderful. Okay, so in that case, our extra magicka will just go into burning the crap out of this thing. And at least this way I don't have to worry about hurting my friend. And now that's that. So we're going to, you know what? Let's do some dual wield. Oh, I've only got one sword. Axe of Whiterun. Alright, I guess we'll just be a little more careful with the stomping this time. I don't have enough magicka to go for bound, and I'm not trying to tank because this thing does way too much damage. There we go. Alright, I'm not sure why that went so much better that time. Maybe because I conjured this thing first and he ran past it, so the Flame Atronach was able to do a lot more damage than before. I don't know. But moving on, let's. I think that was the last of the big threats before you get to High Hrothgar. And I've almost got enough magicka for another boost to illusion magic. And then we will reach our goal. And here we go. Emblem 5. Man prevailed, shouting Alduin out of the world, proving for all that their voice too was strong, although their sacrifices were many-fold. Yeah, if you've got an entire race of little squishy edible people against dragons, it's going to be expensive. The sacrifices will be many. Now, I think there is one more of those emblems that we have to find before we can unlock that buff I was telling you about. And I have not researched this beforehand, so we're just going to keep an eye out and hope that I can notice it, because I think it might be a little out of the way. And then we'll see what that buff does. Okay? Oh, there's one right there, so maybe I am mistaken. I'm going off of like weeks old playthroughs from another person that I read just to make sure I was trying to catch at least something new for this run. Emblem 6, with roaring tongues the Sky Children conquer, founding the first empire with sword and voice, whilst the dragons withdrew from this world. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like in if you know the lore of Star Trek, the Klingon mythology is that they actually like slaughtered their own gods. They didn't just turn away from them and stop believing. They like tied them down and decimated them, which is definitely a Klingon way to handle things. And maybe this is the last of the emblems, because this is very like, look at that view. That precipice is just, yeah, that's pretty cool. And Emblem 7. The tongues at Red Mountain went away humbled. Jurgen Windcaller began his 7-year meditation to understand how strong voices could fail. And I'm still not seeing a buff. Is there an 8th one? There must be an 8th one, because that was 7. Oh, yeah, maybe there's another one right up there, so maybe that's it. Maybe that will finish our little scavenger hunt of emblems. It's kind of interesting how there's a whole culture around the voice that they built in Skyrim, but very few people can actually use it. Emblem 8. Jurgen Windcaller chose silence and returned. The 17 disputants could not shout him down. Jurgen the Calm built his home on the throat of the world. That's an odd... Jurgen the Calm, he took on 17 disputants and was labeled the Calm. Usually it's like the all-powerful, the rugged, the bloodthirsty, and instead they're like the Calm. Sounds more like you would be teaching you meditation and reaching a higher plane of awareness as opposed to anything else. And okay, so that was number 8, and High Hrothgar's right there. So is there another one? around here somewhere. Oh, and illusion's up to 35. Nice. Okay. Oh, well, maybe this is the last one. It must be, because that is an awesome statue. Oh, okay. So that's the guy who helped kill the dragons by power of the voice. Perfect. Emblem 9. For years all silent, the Greybeards spoke one name. Tiber Septim, stripling them, then was summoned to High Hrothgar. They blessed and named him Dovahkiin. Ah, the first of the Dovahkiin. And that's it. Okay, so that's number 9, I believe. But I don't see a buff. So is there a 10th around here somewhere? I feel like I'm missing something. We're going to take a look over at this edge. Oh, there's one over there. Okay, so maybe this isn't... They're all pretty prominent. I thought there was one that was more hidden off to the side, but maybe not. Alright, let's see if this gets us the buff we're after. Emblem 10. The voice is worship. Follow the inner path. Speak only in true need. It makes you kind of wonder what they do when they just need, right? I guess true need would be like if you haven't went to the bathroom in an hour and you desperately need the bathroom, and then I guess you only speak in true need, so I guess you just kind of cross your legs for an hour until it gets really bad. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I went to all 10 of the emblems and read them and unlocked the Voice of the Sky. Let's see what that does. That is not it. Active effects. There we are. Okay, Voice of the Sky gives us... Animals will neither attack nor flee from you. 23 hours. Okay, so this is kind of useful, I guess, if you're going to be pushing into the mountains and you're still a low level and you don't want that saber cat or that dire bear coming out of nowhere and taking you out, particularly when you're lower level and still kind of squishy. So you can take this buff, and any of the animal type beasts, they'll just ignore you, which can be helpful, because I remember when I was doing a mage run, I hated it when that saber cat or some big animal would just come out of nowhere and stomp on your face before you could get up any like defensive magics or anything. Now these offerings for High Hrothgar, I'm not doing a role-playing playthrough, and I know that these items are going to stay here the rest of the game unless I take them for myself. So we're just going to go ahead and accept those as kind donations to our success. I'm not trying to equip, I'm trying to store. There we go. Alright, quest complete. Okay, so thank you for joining me for climbing the steps of High Hrothgar. Let's see if we can get a nice view for the end of this little snippet here. There's a nice... that's pretty cool. That's a nice view. Alright, awesome. Thank you again for joining me on this walkthrough. Let's go ahead and double check on our progress. Our Illusion Magic, you remember that was level 20 when we started. Now it's level 35, so we gained 15 points in Illusion, along with points in Alchemy, One-Handed, and Light Armor. So we're already at level 11. We haven't even unlocked Fusro Da, and we're already level 11 with 7 extra perks to put where we want. So if you'd enjoyed this content so far, feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Those are 2 of the best ways to let me know that you guys are enjoying this content and want to see more of it. Last but definitely not least, what is your favorite way to pass the time in Skyrim when you are traveling between destinations? Do you like to pick flowers for alchemy? Do you like to spam your spells to try and boost things like we did with illusion magic? Do you look for things to sneak up on to boost your sneak? What works for you? Alright, that's it for me. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.